Today I, Dr. Vandana Ranga, will like to discuss the types of thyristors and their applications. In addition to bidirectional thyristors, there are many types of thyristors for different applications. The majority of these types are used and are based on 4-layer thyristor structure but with special designs. The conventional thyristors, which were considered previously, are usually designed to have similar forward and reverse blocking capabilities. Two broad classes exist in conventional thyristor. One is the converter grade thyristor and the other is inverter grade thyristor. The former is used for low frequency and is designed to have lowest possible on-state voltage drop but can only switch slowly. The latter is designed for high frequency and has a fast turn off but generally has a larger on-state voltage drop. The asymmetric thyristor is shown in this figure over here. It does not have a reverse blocking capability since the N base contains additional N plus layer adjacent to the junction J1. The low figure shows the structure of a conventional thyristor for comparison. We note that the asymmetric thyristor has a higher resistivity N1 base and an adjacent low resistivity N plus layer. In forward blocking, the depletion layer on the N side of the blocking junction spreads to the N plus layer. However, the depletion layer is then effectively constrained from further spreading by the high doping level of this layer. Consequently, as is shown in this figure over here, the spreading by high doping level of this layer, the electric field distribution is approximately constant for asymmetric thyristor comparison with the triangular distribution for the conventional thyristor. The additional N plus layer allows the use of a much thinner N base than the conventional thyristor. The reduced base width greatly helps to reduce the on-state voltage drop and shortens the turn-on time of the device through the narrower base. The turn-off performance is also improved since the narrower N base results in a lower value of storage charge. The gate turn-off GTO thyristor is a device that overcomes one of the basic thyristor limitations since GTO can be turned on and off by a gate control. This is achieved by a tight control on the voltage gain and by distributing the gate over the whole cathode area. This figure over here shows a GTO with negative voltage applied to the P gate. To turn off the current, a reverse gate voltage and current are applied instead of reversing the polarity of the main terminals. As a result, the holes from the anode begin to partially removed by the gate. On the other hand, the electrons injected by the cathode emitter are pushed away by the negative gate voltage towards the active center of the device. The light activated thyristor is a thyristor in which the gate terminal is not electrically contracted but is designed to respond to an optical signal. Usually the optical signal is very weak and consequently the device has a very high gain. The power switching applications of the thyristors cover a broad range of both power and frequency. The figure illustrates this figure over here. This illustrates the major applications of thyristors categorizing by the switching frequency and power. At low frequency and high power end of the spectrum, we have a high voltage direct current HVDC devices which demand the highest power. On the other hand, for high frequency and low power applications, we have lighting control, ultrasonic generators, high frequency power conversion equipment and switched mode power supplies SMPS. However, the major applications are for motor drives and power supplies which cover a wide range of power and frequency. The motor drive applications, for example, range from small motor used in domestic appliances to the high power motor drives used in rolling mills. Now we summarize the bipolar transistor, which was developed in 1947, remains one of the most important semiconductor devices. A bipolar transistor is formed when two p-n junctions are of the same semiconductor material are physically close enough to interact. The charge carriers injected from the forward biased first junction result in a large current flow in the reverse biased second junction. We have considered the static characteristics of bipolar transistors such as the modes of operation and the current voltage characteristics of the common emitter configuration. We have also considered the frequency response and switching behavior. A key device parameter of bipolar transistor is the base width, which must be very small compared with the minority carrier diffusion length to improve the current gain and to increase the cutoff frequency. Bipolar transistors are used extensively as discrete devices or in integrated circuits for current gain, voltage gain, power gain applications. They are all used in bipolar CMOS combination circuits, BiCMOS, and for high density, high speed operations. The frequency limitations of a conventional bipolar transistor are the result of its low base doping and relatively wide base. To overcome these limitations, a heterojunction bipolar transistor HBT formed between two dissimilar semiconductors can have much higher base doping and a much lower base. The HBT therefore gained popularity in millimeter wave and high speed digital applications. Another important bipolar device is the thyristor, which is formed of 3 or more PN junctions. The thyristor is used mainly for switching applications. These devices can have current ratings from a few milliamperes to over 5000 amperes and voltage ratings extending above 10,000 volts. We have considered the basic characteristics of thyristor operation. In addition, we discussed the bidirectional thyristor, diac and triac, and has on-off states with either positive or negative terminal voltages. The asymmetric thyristor that has very short turn on and turn off times, the gate turn off thyristor GTO, and the light activated thyristor. Thyristors cover a wide range of applications from low frequency high current power supplies to high frequency low power applications, including lighting, controls, home appliances, and industrial equipment. For certain switching devices such as high voltage thyristors, as we have discussed earlier, a large chip areas are used. Frequently an entire wafer is used for a single device. This size imposes stringent requirements on the uniformity of the starting material. To obtain homogeneous distribution of dopants, we use a float zone silicon slice that has an average doping concentration well below the required amount. The slice is then irradiated with thermal neutrons. This process is called neutron irradiation. Gives rise to a fractional transmutation of silicon into phosphorus and dopes the silicon n-type. That is silicon plus neutron. This will give silicon plus gamma ray, which will give us phosphorus plus beta ray. The half-life of intermediate element silicon is 2.62 this isotope. Because the penetration depth of neutrons in silicon is about 100 cm, doping is very uniform throughout the slice. We now consider the lateral resistivity distributions in the conventionally doped silicon and silicon doped with neutron irradiation. We note that the resistivity variations for the neutron irradiated silicon are much smaller than that of the conventionally doped silicon.